World record attempts, long-awaited comebacks, and shocking upsets were the common themes at the last two Diamond Leagues in Lausanne and Silesia. After a month-long hiatus, the Diamond League is back, and we got a clearer picture on what the state of these distance events are going into the Zurich Diamond League, which is the last Diamond League before the Diamond League finals, but most importantly, the World Ultimate Championships. We'll start off in the men's 800 meters in Lausanne. Coming into the race, all eyes were on Marco Arop. In an interview with Sitges Mag before the meet, Marco says he's going for the world record if the opportunity presents itself. Marco's been having Achilles issues this last year, and it led him to only winning last year Canadian Nationals by, I think, a tenth of a second, maybe even less than a tenth of a second. And rumor on the street was he was even doing his workouts last year in flats, his 800 meter workouts. Allegedly, he'd run 1:15.0 in flats in training for a 600 meters. That's insane. And these Achilles issues bled themselves into 2026. But even so, with said Achilles issues, he had the fastest time of the year going into this meet, running 1:41.86, and he soloed a 1:42.0 in Edmonton, Alberta. He was all by himself. There was nobody else there. In that race, he broke Alberto Juantorina's Canadian soil 800 meter record, which at the time it was set was also the world record. That record was set back in 1976. So Arop's in good shape, but apparently things are going even better for Marco. After that Edmonton meet, when he ran 1:42, he got an Achilles operation, apparently a minor one, and his Achilles issues are apparently all gone. He's been able to get in his recovery and a solid training block since then, so he's ready to rock and roll at this Diamond League. But Lausanne won't be easy for Marco, as his arch rival Emmanuel Wanyonyi is in the race. The defending world and Olympic champion Jamel Sajadi is making his debut, and apparently he's in one of the best fitnesses of his life. And Brandon Miller having an amazing comeback this year with his new training team with Josh Kerr. He's running extremely well right now too. He's run 1:42.0 this year, or 1:42 low. Tual, also a 1:41 runner, is looking for some redemption in this race from European Championships when he underperformed. But the field here is stacked. And Arop wasn't lying when he said he wanted to go for the world record, because rumor is that he asked for the pacer to go out in 48.5 seconds at the 400. So he must be feeling good about his Achilles and his recent workouts. And the race did not disappoint. They're out in 48.8 seconds. The pacer did a phenomenal job. He steps to the side, 400 meters in, and he keeps going. He knows he's going a little bit slower now. He knows Arop wants to set the world record, and Arop accepts this invitation and passes him on the inside. He's running 800 meters exactly, and he's going for it. Wanyonyi and the rest of the field are behind him. They're quite a bit behind him too. They're not as confident as Marco on this day, so they're gonna let him take it, and they're gonna hopefully catch him at the end. And Marco goes through the 600 in 1:15.0, 1:15 low. He needs a sub 26 to set the world record. But even 600 meters in, you knew it wasn't going to happen. He's starting to tire. You really see it on Arop when he's starting to tire. He kind of stands up a little bit straight, and his stride is not near as powerful as it was earlier in the race. But with 100 to go, he's still in first. But then that quickly vanishes 40 meters later as Wanyonyi pulls up on the side, Sajadi pulls up on the side, and Miller, he's coming too. And the three athletes pass him. But Wanyonyi was not to be denied. He wins the race in 1:42.1, a great opener from Sajadi too, and Brandon Miller comes third, and holy smokes does he look smooth compared to what he used to look like. Usually later in Miller's races, he kind of flails a little bit. He did a little bit in the last 100 meters here, but it usually happens a lot sooner, going a lot slower pace, so Miller's looking very good for the World Ultimate Championships, and who knows how good he's going to get next year too. For the women's 800, we have the #1 rank Wero competing against Femke Bol, and then there's everybody else. It's crazy to say that because Adira of Kenya, the defending 800 meter world champion, is also in the race. And in less than 12 months, she's not even close to being in the conversation for being the best women's 800 meter athlete in the world. Again, this shows you how fast the track and field world moves on. One moment you're on top of the world, the next you're just not. This whole season with the women's 800 meter has just been more of the same. There's a clear #1, a clear #2, and a clear #3, and that order hasn't changed. Bol, the 3rd rank, and Wero, the 1st rank, are coming off European Championships. And that was little more than a week before, so they might be tired. That was the speculation coming into the race. Hodgkinson is not there, but she has the meet record. She's recovering from the European Championships still, so more than likely we're going to see her a little later in the season. And like clockwork, the race is playing out like every other race Wero is in. She's here to run fast, and she's here to dominate. Wero had requested that the pacer take them out in 55.5, and she goes even faster. The pacer goes through the 400-meter mark in 54.6 seconds. You could tell 200 meters in that this pace was way too fast, and Wero lets the pacemaker go. She lets a gap form between them. That's just a little too fast for her. She wants to run 153, not 149. And a gap forms between Bull and Wero, and Bull is passed by Shiwei of Ethiopia, a ballsy move in this fast of a race. And the field is strung out, and more of the same happens until about 130 meters to go. Because with 130 meters to go, something different happens. Bull starts to pass for second, and she just looks different. She looks like she's actually kicking. With how her form looks usually, she always looks like she's gliding and not trying that hard, which she obviously is. But in this race, she's really using her arms. She's really kicking the last 130 meters. And my God, she's catching Wero. Bull smells blood, and she smells blood early on with 100 meters to go. Wero is tiring. She's still looking strong, but you can tell she's hurting. You can tell she's slowing down. And Bull's closing the gap. 50 meters to go, 40 meters to go, 30 meters to go. The gap keeps getting smaller. And with 20 meters to go, it was still anyone's race. It was Wero first, Bull second, but she just runs out of real estate. Bull comes second by less than 1/100th of a second. Wero wins. She sets Hodgkinson's record, runs 155.33, and Bull runs a national record of 155.41. Bull looked amazing. I honestly think she's going to run super fast next year. This is her first season running the 800 meter, and Wero and Hodgkinson both have something to worry about in the next coming years. But Wero in particular looked a little bit tired in this race. She didn't look bad. She just looked on the lower end of normal. She usually looks like a superstar in these races, and she did, just on the lower end of that. I think if she was more well rested and had a better training block and wasn't racing European Championships 10 days before, I think she would have held on a bit nicer. But what a storyline for World Ultimates this year and the Diamond League final, because as much as Wero is the favorite, there is the dark horse of Bull behind her, and Hodgkinson has the chance to, she always has the fitness to potentially pull an upset and regain her #1 women's 800 meter ranking. On to the 5,000 meters, we saw a similar theme of fatigue. In an interview before the race, Grant Fisher was being asked how fast he could run right now, this late in the season, and then he goes on about how many of these athletes have been peaking for European Championships and Commonwealth these last few weeks, and this just didn't sound like a runner who was super fresh. It sounds like he's also talking about himself. He sounded far from sure of himself. This Diamond League is also in a period where it would be nice to be training for the Diamond League finals and World Ultimates in the coming weeks. So who knows how fresh these athletes are on that perspective as well. But on the starting line, Fisher looks haggard. His eyes just look like there's like these dark circles underneath. He doesn't look race ready as he does usually on the starting line. And relatively quickly, my assumption that everybody was tired in this 5,000 meters was proven correct. During the race, Grant Fisher just wasn't in it. And after the pacer dropped out 1,000 meters in, or roughly a little bit more than 1,000 meters in, they took everyone out around 235 or sub 235. Nico Young had committed to this pace, but as soon as the pacer dropped out, this pace just slowed right down, and it looked like everybody was thankful that it was the case. The pace was now slow until the last kilometer. In classic Nico Young fashion, from 600 meters in, his face looked like he was strapped to a medieval torture device, and it fooled the commentators as they thought he was getting fatigued, but no, he just looks like that while running. When the race picked up again, the three Americans, Nico, Parker, and Graham Blanks, all looked really good. They were all in contention for the win. But on the day, Baranu Baloo looked just too good. The last 200 meters, Baloo took control from the front, and he just looked so controlled while doing it too. He was just so much faster than everyone else. A gap quickly formed, and he cruises his way for the win. It didn't matter what the race was on the day, Baloo was just going to win no matter what. It really did look effortless from him. So a great race for him. And now on to the Diamond League in Silesia, and boy was this fun as well. First, we're going to cover the women's 1500 meters. On the starting line, we have some prolific runners such as Jessica Hull from Australia, the bronze medalist from Tokyo World Championships in 2025, and the silver medalist in the last Olympic Games in Paris for the 1500 meters. Then you have Burke Halem from Ethiopia, who was stripped of her U20 world records earlier this year because she lied about her age. Age cheating remains one of the biggest loopholes for sanctioned cheating in the world of track and field. There are absolutely no punishments for it. So if you can get away with it, you are incentivized to do so. Until there are actual punishments for age cheating, you're consistently going to see these East African countries on the starting line who are older than they say they are, because it's just flat out worth doing. With these incentives, why wouldn't you do this? This is also unfair for the athletes from those East African countries who are actually the age they say they are, as now they're going to be doubted of their actual age too. Anyways, I digress. You have Sige Taguma, a fast 800 meter runner who's looking really fit in the 1500 meter right now. She has one of the fastest times of the event this year. You also have Dorcas Iwoy of Kenya, Nikki Hiltz of America, and Kazimierska of Poland. The pace is out quick, but as the athletes struggle to find their place, Halem, the race favorite, gets clipped from behind and almost falls down. She has a really good recovery, but with no doubt it took a lot of energy from her to recover. The pacemakers took the field through in 2:05.4, so it's quick. And the second pacemaker drops out with 400 meters to go, so 1100 meters in. Kazimierska takes the lead, and she takes the lead with force. She's making the long run to home from 400 meters out. But Iwoy and Hull are right on her tail. And with 200 meters to go, Iwoy passes Kazimierska and Hull is right on her. And with 100 meters to go, Hull makes a powerful move to home, but she moves too fast and too early. Taguma, from way back in 5th place, times it perfectly. She swings to lane 2. She goes. She's in 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and she clips Hull at the line. It was absolutely beautifully timed. That was an amazing performance from her. She wins with a world lead of 3:55.07. And another cool thing is 9 women in this race broke 4 minutes for the 1500. The world just keeps getting faster. I just made a video on Jenny Simpson, and I think she was the 3rd American ever to break 4 minutes in the 1500. And now at a normal Diamond League, you have just 9 athletes just casually going under. And barely anybody talks about it because this is more of a common thing now. And a quick shout out to the men's 100 meters too. I think this is the first time ever in a 100 meter finals that all 9 athletes race and go sub 10 seconds. This race was so much fun to watch. You honestly couldn't tell who came 3rd through 9th. It was so close. The world keeps getting faster in the sprints too. It's a new era. But for the main event of the Silesia Diamond League, at least for the distance folk, is the men's 1500 meter. The return of Jakob Ingebrigtsen in the 1500. And this couldn't have happened at a better time as Hocker is returning from his race hiatus. He's on the starting line racing the 1500. And this is also at a time where Josh Kerr just set the world record for the mile. He is the clear #1 in the 1500 meter in the world this year. And it was only a couple years ago where everybody thought Jakob would be the king until he retires. He was the reason why he was bringing everyone through in these sub 3:30 performances. But Josh Kerr proved otherwise. He runs 3:42 in the mile. So this is an important fitness test for Ingebrigtsen to see how fit he is and to see if he can challenge Josh Kerr in the 1500 in their upcoming races this season and next season as well. We also have quite a few returning athletes from the 1500 meters at the European Championships who are also racing at this Diamond League. Isaac Nader, Samuel Pilstrom, Jake Hayward, and the European champion himself, Stefan Nilsson. We also have Kichuk of Kenya and the other NCAA alumni, Ethan Strand and Nathan Green. The goal of this race is 3:30 and the race is off. Cole Hocker goes right to the front, right behind the pacemakers, and they're through in 1:52. This is a field of late racers, so this pace is fine. They like closing in negative splits, if they can. With just over 500 meters to go, Ingebrigtsen takes the lead. He sees the opportunity and he jumps on it. This is where Ingebrigtsen loves to be. Look at all of his championship races. He loves to take the lead around this point if he can. And he's in the lead despite all of his injuries over the last 2.5 years. 10 days after the 5,000 meter European Championship finals. And he's in the lead with 400 meters to go. Hocker gets gobbled up by the pack a bit, but he's fine with this too. He's okay with being in this position because he's one of the best in-pack racers the world has ever seen in the 1500 meters. I truly mean it when I say that. The field is closing in on Ingebrigtsen, and Kichuk makes a move with 200 meters to go and cuts Ingebrigtsen off at the corner for the final run to home. But the unexpected athlete, Ethan Strand, matches this move, goes on to Kichuk's shoulder, and with 100 meters to go, surges to the front and he looks so controlled while doing this. He doesn't overcommit. He's getting faster and faster, and he wins it. He wins it easily. He's celebrating at the end. Kichuk comes second, Hocker third, and Ingebrigtsen fourth. It's also worth to note that Hocker had a pelvis injury that took about 5 weeks out of his training earlier this year, which is a meaningful amount, so I'm sure he wasn't too disappointed with his performance. But what a performance from Jakob Ingebrigtsen, running 3:31 after all of that time off. Those Achilles issues prevent you from doing fast-paced workouts. And from early on, it looked like Ingebrigtsen was a little bit uncomfortable. You could tell he was almost like in foreign territory. But running 3:31 and being in contention the last 100 meters is a huge plus for him. He answered a lot of questions, and one of them being, yeah, he's going to be back in sub 3:30 shape really soon. But the common theme throughout this meet was the European Championship athletes, and to some extent, some of the Commonwealth Championship athletes were just tired. You had good performances from Boll, Pilstrom, and Hayward, even Ingebrigtsen, but everyone else looked a little worse for wear. Some, like Nielsen, just looked a lot worse. I think he came last or second last. But these two events gave us a clearer look into the World Ultimate Championships. On the 1500 meter, it's wide open. So many of these athletes are running so close to each other, we don't know who's going to be in form on the day and take a win. For the women's 800, Boll might take a run for gold as the underdog, but I highly doubt it. Werro's just looking way too good. I think Hodgkinson too should be the favorite for second. But if anyone can dethrone Werro, I have a feeling it's going to be Boll. And then I'd have to say Ingebrigtsen would be the favorite to win the men's 5,000 meters, especially after this 1500 meter performance. The fact that he won the European 5000s in the place he did, with the amount of training he had, and then goes on to run a 3:31 1500, which is still a fast time for a 5,000 meter runner. And plus, I think Ingebrigtsen's a 5,000 meter runner anyways. I think he's going to win. But he's not ready for Kerr. I don't think anyone is. Kerr's just on a different planet of fitness right now, and in the Commonwealth Games it really showed that when everybody else was literally racing for second. You can see my commentary on that right here. And then for the men's 800, it's going to be an absolute fight to the death. No idea who's going to win that. We have Marco Arop, who still has the world's fastest time this year, and people frequently forget this late in the season. In these Diamond League, Marco's here to run fast. In these championship meets, he's here to win, and he always shows up. You have Emmanuel Wanyonyi, who's the obvious favorite, Jamel Sajadi, Brandon Miller, a newcomer on the scene, a newcomer on the elite scene, I should say. And then how can you forget the young gun Cooper Lutkenhaus? Is this going to be the year he takes over and wins World Ultimates? I think he's the dark horse in that race, though I don't think he'll win it. I think next year he's going to be even way better than he is right now, but we'll see. And that about covers the two Diamond Leagues. If you guys like this video, then you're going to love my coverage on the European Championships about a week ago. I cover all of the drama in the men's and women's distance races, and we saw some pretty incredible performances and upsets. So go on, click on the screen in the middle. I'll see you guys there.